My name is John Olmsted. I currently am an adjunct instructor in psychology at Portland State University and Portland Community College. I've been a political activist. Well, as I say, my birth in political activism was in front of the Chicago Democratic Party Convention in 1968, where we stayed up all night chanting, "Hey, hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today?" And since then, since LBJ, I've never forgiven the Democratic Party for the slaughter that they conducted in Vietnam, and have always felt that the Democratic Party was far more of an obstacle and far more of a very important part of the machine that keeps the war going and everything else. So I've always had it in for the Democrats. And this year, because as you know, I think that there will be a rather large sucking movement into the Democratic Party because of people's desperation, wanting to stop the war, desperation of 8 years of Bush, and perhaps a little bit of illusions in Barack-o-mania. If he gets the nomination, I don't think people are going to have illusions in Hillary. They know what they're going to get with that. But there will be a big influx there, and that will probably make it difficult to a certain degree for us. If the Democrats get elected, there will be, of course, massive illusions, massive expectations that things will change. At that point, I think things will get very interesting very fast, because the Democrats will inherit the Iraq War, that they will be emboldened, they will have to continue the occupation, because if they don't, then the Republicans would love to say, "You lost Iraq," and for a whole lot of other reasons. And they'll inherit a falling economy with this gigantic debt and a falling economy that there's very little that they can do about. So at that point, I think people's illusions will get smashed fairly quickly, and I think the honeymoon for the Democrats will be a world record short honeymoon. At that point, the people will again be much more open to alternatives, and that's why, in a certain sense, what we're doing is a holding action, get it building as well as we can, so that when that happens, when the tide breaks in our direction much more, we'll be able to take much more advantage of it. You understand what I'm saying? That's not to say that we don't run the greatest campaign and we can't do all kinds of good things. But in terms of the sucking motion right now, it's in the Democrats, and that's the way it goes. So anyway, so I'm running against Earl Blumenauer. We're getting the nuts and bolts together now, website and stuff like that. We have our next campaign meeting the 4th of March. The hope is perhaps to do some public announcement of the campaign, either around the March 15th rally, which I am very involved with those people, and or if possible, maybe get Cynthia McKinney to stop up on after her being at the Environmental Law Conference. Lastly, I also don't believe in the vote for me, I'll set you free, vote for me because I'm a better guy than Earl Blumenauer. I think it's much more about the party and the program, so that's what I'm really mainly running on, not a personal thing against Blumenauer as a jerk, even though he is, and that I'm a great guy, even though I am. More about both the party and also to build what I think are the real political actions, which are things like demonstrations, things like, for example, the huge campaign that's going to go on this year to defend immigrants against these horrible anti-immigration ballot measures that are coming up, and I'll be using my campaign for that kind of thing. Lastly, well, that's it.